To some people, being rich and famous goes along with having a good legacy or making a good name for themselves. However, some people do not care about making a good name or leaving a good legacy. They decided to acquire their riches in a way that is not legal at all. Well, this is what we will be talking about in this video. Here are the top 10 most notorious criminals of all time. Number 10. Jesse James, 1847 to 1882. Jesse Woodson James was an American outlaw born in September 1847. He was a bank robber, train robber, guerrilla, and the leader of the James Younger gang of outlaws in the American Old West. These guys had no mercy and were ready to murder anyone who got in their way. They were the terror of the town. Although feared by their victims, the gang was admired in Missouri, their home state, where the group was formed. You might want to ask why. It was believed that James and his group, due to personal views and reasons, robbed the rich to give to the poor. Most importantly, they were admired due to their support for the Confederacy during the American Civil War. On April 3, 1882, Jesse James was shot and killed by a gang member, Robert Ford. Robert Ford was also referred to as Bob, was a new member of the group when he killed James. He did this as a new member of the gang who hoped to collect a reward on James' head and a promised amnesty for his previous crimes. Already a celebrity in life, James became a legendary figure in the Wild West after his death. Number 9. Leonid Minin, 1947 till date. Leonid Eftimovich Minin was born in Ukraine in December 1947, and he was known as an international arms trafficker. He sold different types of weapons to dangerous and wanted people. Leonid Minin was finally arrested and jailed by Italian authorities in 2000. Number 8. Charles Ponzi, 1882 to 1949. Ever heard of the phrase Ponzi scheme? This man is the founding father. Charles Ponzi was a smart Italian con artist and swindler born in March 1882. His main operation grounds were the United States and Canada, where he changed his name many times to scam people successfully. Ponzi's victims or clients are promised a 50% profit within 45 days or 100% profit within 90 days. All they needed to do was to buy discounted postal reply coupons in other countries, redeem them at face value in the US as a form of arbitrage, and wait for their profit. Profit that never became theirs. He paid earlier investors using the investments of later investors. When the investment scheme crashed, Ponzi had a total sum of $20 million, which is $271 million in 2022, to himself. He was later arrested and jailed for all his crimes. He died at a hospital in poverty and sickness. Number 7. Amado Carrillo, Futis, 1956 to 1997. During Carrillo's lifetime, especially when he became a criminal, everyone could testify that he shook the country. Before his death, Carrillo's net worth was about $25 billion, although all were gotten illegally. Amado Carrillo Futis was made the leader of Mexico's Juarez cartel after seizing control and assassinating the group's former leader, Rafael Aguilar Gujardo. This guy was known for his fleet of jets and that he used to transport drugs. However, Amado Carrillo Futis eventually died in 1997 due to the complications he had during a plastic surgery operation. He aimed to use his new looks to hide from the authorities. Number 6. Whitney Bulger, 1929 to 2018. James Joseph Whitney Bulger Jr. was an American organized crime boss and an FBI informant born in September 1929. Although this guy never gave in to that after he was caught, the FBI revealed that he worked for them in 1975, and as a result of this, the FBI boss at that time made sure that the Winter Hill gang, where Whitney was the leader, were ignored. Whitney was the second most wanted criminal in the US after Osama bin Laden, and he wasn't caught until he turned 81. That's to show you how long this guy and his gang were able to hide. He was guilty for racketeering, money laundering, extortion, and weapons charges, including his involvement in 11 murders. Number 5. Jean Bernard Lesnaut, 1942 till date. How this guy was able to hide and plant sight for such a long time is something that everyone will continue to talk about. Jean Bernard is a citizen of France by birth, but he made South Florida his second home for more than 10 years. This guy was wanted by the Swiss government in Argentina in the 80s and 90s. He was accused of illicit sales of weapons, involvement in the murder, and even fraud. Lesnaut was able to avoid capture but eventually resurfaced in Florida, where he continued his illegal business and covered up with his legal businesses of selling machine guns and the likes. After he was caught in Switzerland, the government took down his website where people could order what he sold. Number 4. Mickey Cohen, 1913 to 1976. This guy is one of the few criminals who were never really caught for the serious crime they committed. Mayor Harris Mickey Cohen was born on September 4, 1913. This guy already had the traits of becoming a gangster from a young age, as he was sent to reform school for petty crimes in 1922. Well, Mickey grew up to become a gangster who was involved in organized crimes, ran illegal gambling operations, became an associate of A.I. Capone's brother, and worked his way up to becoming a boss. You would be surprised to know that the only thing that Cohen got arrested for was tax evasion. Despite his far worse crimes, it was the only thing that the authorities could pin on him. Number 3. John Dillinger, 1903 to 1934. If you think Mickey was smart, John Dillinger was smarter. He was an American gangster who led the Dillinger Gang during the Great Depression era. This guy and his group robbed over 20 banks and 4 police stations, and even after he was caught and imprisoned, Dillinger escaped twice. Now that is what you call a prison break. He was also charged with murder but wasn't convicted of it. However, although John Dillinger was wanted by the authorities for the crimes he committed and targeted as a public enemy, the people admired John and saw him as Robin Hood. It was believed that John stole from the rich to give to the poor. John Dillinger was later shot and killed outside the Biograph Theater by FBI agent Charles Batzel when he tried to flee. Number 2. Pablo Escobar, 1949 to 1933. This guy, although dead, remains one of the most notorious criminals of all time. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria, born in December 1949, was a Colombian drug lord and a narco-terrorist during his time. He was feared by all and was even given the title the King of Cocaine. He was the founder and gang leader of his group, Medellin Cartel, a powerful drug cartel and a terrible terrorist tribe criminal gang. He was one of the richest persons in Colombia and South America and had a net worth of $37 billion at the time of his death. However, just like John, Escobar was also seen as Robin Hood-like figure by many people in Colombia. It was believed that he provided basic needs and amenities to the poor. Escobar was later killed during a rooftop chase in 1993 by the Colombian National Police in his hometown, a day after his 44th birthday. Now, to the most notorious of them all. Number 1. Al Capone, 1899 to 1947. Al Capone is the most notorious criminal ever recorded. This guy shook the United States. Alfonso Gabriel Capone, also called Scarface, was an American gangster and businessman born in January 1899. He was the most feared figure during the Prohibition era and the gang leader of the Chicago Outfit Group. The group was known to be very brutal when dealing with rivals. During the Prohibition era, Capone took over from his boss Johnny Torrio and expanded their bootlegging business, illegal smuggling of alcoholic beverages through violent means. However, Al Capone also played Robin Hood, as it was believed that he donated his illegal money to charities. In 1931, the federal authorities became very keen on jailing Capone and convicted him of 5 counts of tax evasion out of 22. The all-time notorious criminal later died of cardiac arrest after a stroke on January 25, 1947. That is all for today, guys. Thank you for sticking by the video, guys. We have come to the end of today's video on this channel. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. Love ya, see you in the next video.